I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting for the City of Wheat Ridge, Colorado for Monday, September 22nd, 2025. Would you please rise as you are able and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Would the clerk please call the roll of the members?
Corey Stites.
Here.
Leah Dozeman.
Here.
Rachel Hulteen.
Present.
Janice Hoppy.
Present.
Dan Larson.
Here.
Scott Ohm.
Here.
Jenny Snell.
Here.
Amanda Weaver.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Councilors, are there any changes to be noted in the agenda? Seeing none, we will proceed as presented. We have two proclamations. I'll go. And I would like to invite Tiffany Perhoviak. You'll help me out with that. And Casey Bogenschutz with the Lutheran Hospital. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you so much. So I am really excited to make a proclamation in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas October 2025 marks 40 years that the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month has educated women about early breast cancer detection, diagnosis, and treatment. And whereas 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer within their lifetime. And whereas when breast cancer is detected early and is in the localized stage, the 5-year survival rate for women is 99%. And whereas the awareness campaign is remembering those who have lost their fight against breast cancer, standing with those who remember their loved ones, and continuing to support our nation's advocates. And whereas the American Cancer Society has searched endlessly for a cure through vital research and has the mammoth task of educating our community and all Americans of the risk of breast cancer. And whereas the Lutheran Breast Cancer Center at Lutheran Hospital offers comprehensive breast care for all individuals, including patients with breast cancer, as well as high-risk individuals, ensuring that compassionate and patient-centered journey from initial screenings to survivorship. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Bud Starker, the Mayor of the City of Wheat Ridge, and the Wheat Ridge City Council, do hereby proclaim October 2025 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Wheat Ridge, and encourage residents of Wheat Ridge to celebrate the successes and memorialize lost battles, dated this 22nd day of September 2025. And I would like to present you with this copy of the proclamation, and ask you if you'd like to say a few words. Please be my guest.
This down a little bit. Thank you for sharing such a meaningful message about breast cancer awareness and for honoring the lives of those we've lost to this disease. Their memory continues to inspire our work and deepen our commitment to making a difference. Breast cancer remains one of the most prevalent cancers among women, but early detection through regular screenings can be life-saving. Awareness and education are powerful tools, and they truly save lives.
At Lutheran Hospital, we continue to offer comprehensive breast care services, including routine screenings, advanced diagnostics, and preventative care, all delivered in a setting designed to be warm, supportive, and patient-centered. Our breast care center in Wheat Ridge remains a trusted place where patients can receive the care they need with compassion and expertise. We are honored to walk alongside our community in the journey of prevention, early detection, and treatment. Together, we are building a future with more survivors, more hope, and more healing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're going to have a picture.
Okay.
I want to get between you two.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful.
Work with their magic. Thank you so much. Thank you for what you do. We really appreciate it. I would like to invite Nicole Lopez, the Deputy Director for Porchlight, to join me on the podium. Thank you for coming tonight. This is a proclamation about National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas domestic violence impacts countless Coloradans without regard to age, race, religion, or economic status, as victims suffer at the hands of a spouse or partner, it affects their children, their families, and the entire community. And whereas the City of Wheat Ridge is committed to reduction of domestic violence and the health, safety, and welfare of our residents. And whereas the Wheat Ridge Police Department is committed to providing assistance to victims and witnesses of crime and other traumatic events through the Victims Assistance Partnerships and awareness-related efforts and events. And whereas Wheat Ridge supports and partners with the Porchlight Family Justice Center, which provides comprehensive legal, emotional, and critical supportive services for survivors of domestic violence. And whereas Wheat Ridge joins with others across Colorado and the nation in supporting victims of domestic violence and shares the worthy goals of this month-long observance and sending a loud and clear message to abusers that domestic violence is not tolerated in the city of Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Bud Starker, the mayor of the city of Wheat Ridge, and the Wheat Ridge City Council, do hereby proclaim October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the city of Wheat Ridge, dated this 22nd day of September 2025. I'd like to present this to you as a copy of our proclamation. And would you like to say a few words? Thank you. Come on up.
Good evening. As the Deputy Director of Porchlight, a Family Justice Center, it is my honor to accept this proclamation from the City of Wheat Ridge, recognizing October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Domestic violence is not just a private issue. It is a community issue. Every day, individuals and families here in Wheat Ridge and throughout Jefferson County are impacted by violence that threatens safety, dignity, and hope. Too often, survivors suffer in silence, believing they must face this alone. At Porchlight, and through the dedication of our many partners, we know there is another way forward. Together, we shine into the darkness. In October, we honor survivors, their courage, their resilience, their voices. We remember those we have lost to domestic violence, and we recommit ourselves to building a future where every person is safe in their home. We also recognize the tireless advocates, law enforcement officers, healthcare providers, and community members in Wheat Ridge who walk alongside survivors every day. Domestic Violence Awareness Month is not only a time of reflection, it is also a call to action. Each of us has a role to play, whether by listening with compassion, supporting prevention efforts, or ensuring survivors know help is here. On behalf of Porchlight, I thank the City of Wheat Ridge for this proclamation and for your commitment to raising awareness and standing with survivors. Let us continue to work together to be the light that guides survivors toward safety, justice, and healing. Thank you.
Again, we are now at our public's right to speak, which is an opportunity for members of the public to come and speak to their city council any item that is not on the agenda. I have no one signed up to speak this evening, so that we will go to agenda item 1. Ask Councilor Larson, would you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Mayor. This is Resolution 45-2025, a resolution approving the Clearvale Urban Renewal Plan and finding that the plan area is a blighted area, designating such area as appropriate for an urban renewal project pursuant to the plan, and finding that acquisition, clearance, rehabilitation, conservation, development, redevelopment, or a combination thereof of such area is necessary in the interest of the public health, safety, morals, and welfare of the residents of the city of Wheat Ridge. The issue this evening is urban renewal plans are adopted by City Council and implemented by the Urban Renewal Authority, doing business as Renewal Wheat Ridge. The proposed Clearvale Urban Renewal Plan area is generally located between Wadsworth Boulevard and Carr Street and meanders along the floodplain to 44th Avenue, and then west to Garrison Street and includes Garrison Street to I-70 Frontage Road North. The plan will allow for the use of tax increment financing within the plan area.
Thank you. This is going to be a public hearing. It is not quasi-judicial. I'm going to open the public hearing. And Mr. Goff, do we have a staff presentation?
Steve Ard, our Economic Development Manager and Urban Renewal Authority Executive Director, will introduce the item. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goff. It is very nice to be before you this evening. It's been a long path to get here. Approximately 2 years ago, the Urban Renewal Authority provided staff the authorization to move forward with the formation of 2 new plan areas, of which both we're bringing you tonight. The first one is the Clearvale Urban Renewal Plan area. We will have a map of that area when a presentation is made in front of you. Approximately 2 years ago, we put out an RFP and hired the consulting firm of Economic Planning Systems, EPS, to help form the documents required by law to form an urban renewal plan area. Those documents, there are 3 of them. The first one is a conditions report, just looking at the property to see the blighting conditions, if they are present, to form the plan. We'll go into more depth on that plan in a few minutes. The second document they create is an impact report, because tax increment financing uses property taxes from those properties to the Urban Renewal Authority to do eligible improvements. We have to prove to the tax entities that the impacts upon them will be negligible or helpful to the city to use that tax increment financing. The third document they created was then the draft plan, and you have the draft plan in your packet this evening. Also by law, a law that was started in 2016 called HB 1348 required some changes in urban renewal authorities. Anytime that you substantially modify a plan or create new urban renewal plans, you're required by law to do a couple of items. One of those is one that you did previously by changing the city ordinance, which will expand our current board from 7 to 13 members. The second portion of that, which is probably the tougher part, which takes the longest time, is with all of those affected tax entities, we now have to come up with an agreement of how we're going to split those tax revenues. We have approved all of those. The Urban Renewal Authority does approve those. One of those is with the city of Wheat Ridge, and you did approve for the Urban Renewal Authority to receive 100% of the increment for the Clearvale project. We are now ready to adopt this resolution this evening, which will then, you will certify that there are the blighting conditions to move forward with that plan. To talk about the blighting conditions and the area of the plan, I have Sarah Dunmeyer with us here this evening from EPS, Economic and Planning System, who have done all the work so far in helping to form this plan area. Sarah, you have a presentation for us.
Great. Thank you, Steve. And hello, Mayor and Council members. Today we'll go over the study area boundary, as Steve mentioned, also the findings of blight from the existing conditions survey. And then we also touch on a high-level summary of the URA plan, as well as the TIF generation estimated impact for the city. So the study area is about 28 parcels, and you can see the boundary here. It's about 109 acres with various owners. So it's directly south of I-70, and then goes along the Clear Creek Trail, and then also to the west is Garrison Street. We excluded residential properties, so it's largely all commercial properties that are included. For the existing conditions survey, we have 11 factors of blight within the state statute. So For these, we look for observations or data that support having them in the study area. So of those 11, we found 7 within the study area, and we'll go into detail about each of these. And with each of these within the existing conditions survey, we do have detailed specific criteria that we're looking for to support each of these findings of blight. And I just want to note that whenever there's multiple owners for urban renewal plan area, only 4 findings of blight are required. We search for as many as possible just to build the case for urban renewal. So here we have found 7, so exceeding the amount that is required by state statute. First is street layout. So we found poor provisions of street layout for pedestrians as well as vehicles. Here you can see potholes, lack of curb, as well as lack of sidewalks or very narrow sidewalks as well. And then also along 48th Avenue where it dead ends just south of I-70 as well to an industrial site. So there's a lack of poor internal circulation along that street. Also faulty lot layout, also related to that eastern corner where there is no outlet and the road dead ends there at that industrial site. And unsafe and unsanitary conditions. So we found evidence of vandalism, excessive litter, evidence of vagrants, as well as open dumpsters throughout the study area. You can see vandalism was found along the Clear Creek Trail, as well as along 48th Avenue on the north portion of the study area, as well as excessive litter throughout, some mattresses, evidence of people staying there, and then the open dumpster as well. For site improvements, we found deteriorated signage, fences, as well as deteriorated parking surfaces with potholes, some unpaved parking surfaces as well, and some maintenance deficiencies with kind of the broken utility box there. So overall, just kind of evidence of some maintenance issues and neglected properties. For infrastructure, we found deteriorated pavement, lack of curb and gutter, lack of sidewalks, also presence of overhead utilities and billboards there along I-70 as well. So these are noted throughout the study area. And endangerment, so specifically for this finding of blight, we have most of the study areas within a floodplain or flood hazard area. So that's the blue shaded area on the map there. So you can really see it on that eastern edge and throughout. And then in terms of vacancy, overall, the study area is underdeveloped in a very urbanized area. So there are 27 acres of vacant land, also with some of the existing industrial uses, just not being used at the highest and best use with large parking lots and things like that as well. Moving on to the urban renewal plan. So this plan is largely guided by the 44th Avenue sub-area plan, which was adopted by the city. So we're really focused on industrial employment as well as revitalizing some of the retail along the commercial corridor along 44th Avenue. So really the focus for the vision of the study area is infill and redevelopment for these commercial properties and also focusing on local and family-oriented businesses. Also a big part of the plan is multimodal improvements with connectivity to the Clear Creek Trail. Some of the plan objectives, first and foremost for urban renewal, the main objective is to prevent and eliminate blight within the study area. We also are implementing the sub-area plan for 44th Avenue as well as a comprehensive plan. So as Steve mentioned, this study was started 2 years ago, so we use the Envision Wheat Ridge. I know there's a new comp plan that was recently adopted, so this just pulls from the previous comp plan, just to note that. This plan also supports development that otherwise would not be feasible without the participation of Renewal Wheat Ridge and enhances the current property tax base as well. So the goals for the URA plan are pulled largely from the conformance with the comp plan as well as the 44th Avenue sub-area plan. And I apologize, the second heading here should be the 44th Avenue sub-area plan. The sub-bullets below that are correct. So for the Envision Wheat Ridge, this plan supports about 6 of the key themes there, focusing on economy and land use, character and design, transportation, community services, and sustainable future, really focused on maintaining a resilient and sustainable tax base. And then for the 44th Avenue sub-area plan, the URA plan supports corridor investments as well as sub-area enhancements with the historic character and just focusing also on connectivity improvements with east-west as well as north-south and priority crossings. For the tax increment financing impact, we go over our assumptions for the generation of TIF. These get a little bit detailed. As Steve mentioned, there are negotiations with each of the taxing entities. At the time that we did the impact report, we used the mill levy that was at the time 87 mills. So this will differ based on those negotiations with each tax district. A key point to focus on with this slide is we ran two different scenarios to estimate the TIF impact. So we have a low and a high. So on the low end, we have about 240,000 square feet of industrial development and then about 20,000 square feet of redevelopment of retail. And then on the high scenario, we have about 270,000 square feet of industrial development and then about 70,000 square feet of retail. For the sales tax increment, we estimated that 65% of the retail would be sales tax generating, and we estimated retail sales at $300 per square foot on an annual basis. And we estimated this for the 3% of the general fund sales tax for the city. So using those assumptions, we forecasted the TIF revenue. So the property TIF is forecasted about $15.6 million over the 25-year period. We discounted this at a 5% discount rate for the present value, estimated at $7.8 million. On the high scenario, we forecasted about $27 million in property TIF over that 25-year period, and then the present value of that is estimated at $13 million. For the sales TIF, we did account for the current base of sales tax, so that is netted out of the TIF generation here, and we estimate on the low scenario about $1.4 million, and then discounted to present value at about $730,000. And on the high scenario, we estimate about $9 million in sales tax increment, and then about $4.5 million for the present value of that. So specifically for the city, for the property tax, the mills are 1.8 for the city currently, and 100% of that is requested to be pledged to the Clearvale URA for TIF. So the city will continue to receive the base valuation, which was about $9,000 in 2024. Over the 25-year period, the city will receive about $270,000 from that base value. And after the 25-year period is over, it's estimated that the city tax will increase to about $30,000 to $50,000 based on that low and high scenario of the redevelopment to take place within Clearvale URA. For the city's sales tax increment, 100% of the 3% of the city general fund sales tax is requested for the TIF to support the redevelopment efforts and eligible improvements. So the city will continue to receive base sales tax, which are estimated about $2.4 million over the 25 years. And then the city will also continue to receive the half-cent capital project sales tax, which is estimated between $1 million to $2.3 million over the 25 years. So overall, the conclusions of our analysis is this exceeds the requirement of blight with 7 of the 11 factors found and observed. And it also supports the Wheat Ridge Comprehensive Plan and the 44th Avenue Subarea Plan. And the overall tax increment estimated to be generated would be about $8.5 million and $17.6 million in that range for the low and high scenarios. And it's a combined property and sales TIF to really fund those eligible infrastructure requirements, as well as supporting connectivity and redevelopment efforts within this area. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Before we go to questions from council, we always invite the public to speak on these items. I have no one signed up to speak, so I will go to questions from council. Councilor Hulteen.
Thank you, Mayor. So I just have a question about the relevance to the 44th Avenue Subarea Plan. So if I'm looking at the map, I mean, it looks like really the only portion of it that was included in the 44th Avenue Subarea Plan is that sort of blip between, what is it? Is it Field or Garrison? And so just that frontage along 44th, the rest of it was actually not included in the 44th Avenue Subarea Plan.
Correct. So in forming this plan area, we actually looked at, do we want to include all of 44th Avenue, go all the way down? And that was just about the time that they were completing the sub-area plan. And we said, if we are ever going to form an urban renewal plan, let's have one specifically for all of 44th Avenue. The properties that we did include made sense for us to go because we went up to the trucking company. And then it really made sense for us to go to Garrison, to tie Garrison down to the I-70 frontage road. That's why we chose that.
So this is a little bit of a hypothetical, but to what you just said, Steve, so should we look at some point of doing a 44th Avenue area, like to do a whole urban renewal area on 44th Avenue? How would it be affected to have like a carve out piece that's part of another?
It
wouldn't.
would not affect it at all. At some point, you may want to do that, but you want to make sure that you're going to create increment. You want to just form a plan area that really no new redevelopment's going on that's going to create increment, because you only have a 25-year clock. The reason we started forming this is because the U.S. Truck School was sold to a developable piece of property, and we expect some development to go on there. So it's going to generate TIF, which would then allow us to take that property out of the floodplain, which is what we anticipate using that monies for.
Okay, great. Well, I'm excited to see those properties included in there as part, when we were talking the prosperity plan. I just think there's a lot of underutilized or underrealized potential in that little area. So 100% supportive. I was just sort of curious around that nexus with the 44th Avenue subplan. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Larson.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to be real clear on as somebody that lives inside the donut hole, I am very interested in this project. And there are certainly areas that qualify by most normal sort of assessments of a neighborhood that if not blighted now, they are very close. Looking at the map though, on the south side of the creek, can you assure me that there are no residences included in the area? Because it looks to me like the Foothills housing development right there at the creek.
That is included, and we strategically did include that with conversations with staff because it's an affordable housing development that is owned by a nonprofit. So it's not necessarily anticipated to generate TIF, but could kind of support other improvements around that site.
And then as you go downstream on the creek, the properties on the south side of the creek are there's some privately owned property there, but none of it is residential, right?
Correct.
Okay. I guess the next question is, are there any and Steve, you did just mention the truck driving school. Are there any other projects that you can see on the horizon that have some potential?
Well, and certainly DTI trucking is an integral part of this community, and we want it to stay as long as possible there, but at some point it may redevelop. The biggest one is going to be the U.S. Truck School. It's probably going to develop. And once that does, those properties across those industrial on the north side of that street will most likely do some sort of investment into their properties.
Right. Would you say then that that area east of Carr along 48 is sort of the bullseye in this project?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I totally agree with that. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any more questions? Before I close the public hearing, any more questions from council? I'm going to close the public hearing, and Councilor Larson, may I have a motion on this item?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve resolution number 45-2025, a resolution approving the Clearvale Urban Renewal Plan and finding that the plan area is a blighted area designating such area as an appropriate for an urban renewal project pursuant to the plan, and finding that the acquisition, clearance, rehabilitation, conservation, development, and redevelopment, or a combination thereof of such area is necessary in the interest of the public health, safety, morals, and welfare of the residents of the city of Wheat Ridge.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Councilor Dozeman. Is there discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council?
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation. We will now go to agenda item number 2. Mayor Pro Tem Stites, would you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 46-2025, a resolution approving the Lutheran Legacy Campus Urban Renewal Plan and finding that the plan area is a blighted area, designating such area as appropriate for an urban renewal project pursuant to the plan, and finding that the acquisition, clearance, rehabilitation, conservation, development, redevelopment, or a combination thereof of such area is necessary in the interest of the public health, safety, morals, and welfare of the residents of the city of Wheat Ridge. And the issue statement is the same as what Councilor Larson described.
That's fine. Thank you very much. This is will be a public hearing. It is not quasi-judicial. I'm going to open the public hearing. Mr. Goff, do we have a staff presentation on this item?
Yeah, another quick introduction by Steve.
Thank you very much. Just before I turn it immediately over to Sarah Dunmeyer, because all the elements that I spoke about with the Clearvale are the same with this one, other than just a different property. I want to thank on record the Urban Renewal Authority and its 7 board members, of which Councilmember Hoppy is one of those, for providing staff the guidance to move forward with the formation of all these plan areas. So I just want to thank that board. They do a great job for Wheat Ridge. Sarah, I'm going to turn this one over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Steve. All right. So this presentation will follow the same flow as the Clearvale URA. So we will get into it. The study area here is the Lutheran Legacy Campus, so the former hospital site. So it's about 20 acres plus 20 parcels, plus adjacent right-of-way, so about 112 acres total. There are multiple owners. And I will just note that the Lutheran Church is excluded from this. And we have the whole campus as well as then the right-of-way down on the south and also the ditch on the east side. So this site also has multiple owners, and the hospital has vacated the site, I believe, last year. All right, so for the existing condition survey, again, we looked at the 11 blight factors. Of these 11, we found 6 that were observed and present on site. So we'll go through each of these in detail as well. So for street layout, we found poor provisions of street improvements and internal circulation, as you can see here. There are cracked pavement and walkways, as well as unsafe bridges for pedestrians, and some roads that just would end abruptly, as well as unpaved parking lots. We also have a faulty lot layout where there is good connectivity north-south. It lacks connectivity east-west, as you can see in the aerial image here. So with the URA plan, there will be improvements to add some east-west connectivity to help improve that internal and external circulation. Unsafe and unsanitary conditions were observed with cracked and uneven sidewalks, vandalism, excessive litter, as well as open ditches with the Rocky Mountain ditch that does cut through the site. So you can see photos here of that observed throughout the property. We also have site improvements with deteriorated signage, lighting, unpaved parking lots, deteriorated curb and gutter and sidewalk, so overall kind of neglected properties and unpaved parking lots as well. You can see kind of some large infrastructure in that first photo on the one field, as well as a light on the ground, and just some deteriorated curbs, parking surfaces, and a large unpaved parking lot as well. For the infrastructure, again, the deteriorated lighting, pavement, curb, and sidewalks. So we have different images here showing that observed throughout the property. And then for vacancy, just overall an underdeveloped site in a generally urbanized area. There's over 50 acres of vacant land. Additionally, now the hospital site is also vacated. So this is a large infill opportunity for the city to redevelop. For the urban renewal plan, this project vision was guided by the Lutheran Legacy Campus Master Plan. So really focusing on a mix of residential products and densities with single family attached units and townhomes, as well as multifamily units, having some retail space as well. And there's also potential for some civic uses in repurposed existing buildings. The plan objectives, again, are really to prevent and eliminate the conditions of blight within the city of Wheat Ridge. It also implements that campus master plan as well as a comprehensive plan of the city. Again, it's supporting projects that would otherwise not be feasible, but for the tax increment financing and support from the Urban Renewal Authority. This also will increase the current tax base with additional assessed valuation and sales tax. So here we identified specific themes within Envision Wheat Ridge that this plan supports, as well as recommendations pulled from the Lutheran Legacy Campus Master Plan. So really increasing the housing supply on site, as well having a diversity of land uses and redeveloping key areas within the city. We're also hoping to have additional community services, investing in parks and recreation, really kind of having some trails along the ditch there repurposed, and increasing connectivity to the surrounding neighborhoods. From the master plan, again, mix of uses, diversity of housing, increasing that connectivity. Specifically within that plan was a recommendation for urban renewal and establishing a new URA area here. So this is implementing that recommendation and using TIF to be able to fund the significant infrastructure requirements for redevelopment on the site, as well as other eligible improvements and multimodal improvements and things like that. For the TIF generation, again, we go over some of the assumptions that feed into these TIF estimates and forecasts. So when this was done, the base value was about 3.1 million in 2024. And we're assuming with this that 93% of the available mills would be dedicated to TIF for the URA. For the sales tax increment, we are assuming about 8,000 square feet of taxable retail space, and annual sales are estimated about $300 per square foot. And again, we're using the same assumption with a 3% of the general fund sales tax from the city would be dedicated to the tax increment for the site. So the property tax is estimated about 76 million over a 25-year period, with significant redevelopment of residential as well as repurposing of some of the existing buildings on site. We discounted that as a present value of 3.8 million based on a discount rate of 5%. The sales tax is estimated at about 2 million with a present value of about 1 million. And since there's no existing sales tax on site, all sales are going to be net new and eligible for TIF. For the city impact, you have the city mill levy of 1.8 mils, assuming 100% would be dedicated to the site and URA. So the city would continue to receive the base value of about 5,700 in 2026. And then at the end of the 25-year period, the property tax for the city would increase to about 108,000 due to the redevelopment of the URA. The city sales tax, again, we're showing here the 3% for the general fund would be TIF eligible. So that would generate that 2 million over the 25-year period. And the city will continue to receive the .5 for the capital projects sales tax, which is estimated to generate about 335,000 over the 25 years. So overall, this exceeds the requirement for blight with 6 of the 11 factors present. It also supports the comprehensive plan for the city and the sub-area plan from the Lutheran Legacy Campus master plan recommendations. The estimated TIF revenue for the site over the 25-year period is just under 40 million, and that's a combination of property tax and sales tax. So that's needed to fund that required infrastructure, drainage, public improvements for the site to redevelop. And thank you very much.
Thank you. We invite the public to speak on this issue. No one has signed up to speak, so I'll go now to questions of council. Are there questions of council for this before I close the public hearing and ask for a vote? I'm going to close the public hearing, and the Mayor Pro Tem Stites, may I have a motion on agenda item number 2?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve resolution number 46-2025, a resolution approving the Lutheran Legacy Campus Urban Renewal Plan and finding that the plan area is blighted area, designating such area as appropriate for an urban renewal project pursuant to the plan, and finding that the acquisition, clearance, rehabilitation, conservation, development, redevelopment, or a combination thereof of such area is necessary in the interest of the public health, safety, morals, and welfare of the residents of the city of Wheat Ridge.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Councilor Ohm. Do we have discussion on the motion? Would the clerk please poll the council?
Eight ayes, no nays. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Okay. We will go to agenda item number 3. Councilor Hoppy, would you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to introduce Council Bill number 18-2025, an ordinance approving the disposition of parkland at Hank Stites Park and in connection therewith authorizing an exchange of land to correct the property boundary. At issue, Hank Stites Park is located at the northwest corner of West 29th Avenue and Newland Street. There are discrepancies at the north and west sides of the park where improvements do not align with the property boundary. In 2021, this was approved by City Council to be resolved by a land exchange with the adjacent property owner. However, that approval has lapsed. Approval of this ordinance will reauthorize that approval and allow the land swap to be completed. Because this exchange involves land park, Section 16.5 of the City Charter requires unanimous approval by the entire council.
Thank you. This is going to be a public hearing. It is not quasi-judicial. Mr. Dahl, would you like me to open the public hearing before I recognize you? I'm going to open the public hearing and recognize our attorney, Mr. Dahl.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to make just a quick little record to establish Councilmember Ohm's ability to participate and vote on the matter. So if you'll indulge me, I'll ask just a couple questions. We can make that record.
Please do.
Thank you. Mr. Ohm and council, this emanates from Charter Section 5.9, which precludes council members having a personal or private interest separate from the common public interest from voting on any matter. And so what I would like to do is just ask a few questions to establish whether or not Councilmember Ohm has a disqualifying personal or private interest that would otherwise mean that he should not participate. I will say that charter section goes on to say that if you don't have that disqualifying interest, council members are required to vote on matters, which is a good public policy, requiring council members to step to the plate on all matters unless there is that kind of disqualifying element. So to the questions, Councilmember Ohm, the company you work for does have a contract to do some form of design work for the adjacent property owner. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Can you describe what that work very briefly is, or what your company has been asked to do?
Yes, surveying and civil work.
Sorry?
Survey and civil work.
Surveying and civil. Thank you. Do you have any financial interest in the piece of property that your company has the contract to do the surveying and civil work for?
I do not.
Okay. Will your compensation as an employee of the company you work for be affected either positively or negatively by the decision the council makes on adjusting this boundary?
No.
Okay. Despite the fact of no financial interest, just for the record, do you believe you can render an impartial decision on the matter, understanding that your company at least is aware of this action that's in front of the council?
Yes.
I guess the question is, I took too long with the question. Can you render an impartial decision
Yes.
despite the fact of your company's
Yes.
participation?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And one other thing is, it should be noted that I was on council in 2021 prior to my employment.
You were on council in 2021 prior
Yeah,
to your...
yes, when it first got voted on.
Okay. Fair enough. Based on that record, council and mayor, I conclude that there is no disqualifying interest, and in fact, Councilmember Ohm would then be required to vote and fully participate on this matter.
Thank you, Mr. Dahl.
Thank you.
Mr. Goff, we have a staff presentation on this item.
We do. Our Community Development Director, Lauren Mikulak.
Thank you. Just a few brief comments to me. As you heard, we have had a council approval on this land exchange from 2021, and that approval lapsed. The proposed swap will resolve two longstanding and hard to explain issues at the park, where the playground and basketball court will, through this land swap, become fully part of city ownership. It will also correct the location of the western fence line. Overall, the city will see a modest net increase in parkland over there. The adjacent property owner, Mr. Muniz, is here tonight if you have any questions for him. I think in short, because the land swap results in a logical and preferred outcome for both the city and the adjacent property owner, staff is recommending approval. Thank you.
Thank you. We invite the public to speak on this item. At this time, no one has signed up to speak, so I will go to questions from council. Are there questions of council on this item before I close the public hearing and ask for motions? Hearing none. Councilor Hoppy, may I have a motion on this item?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve Council Bill number 18-2025, an ordinance approving the disposition of parkland at Hank Stites Park and in connection therewith authorizing an exchange of land to correct the property boundary on second reading, order it published, and that it takes effect 15 days after final publication as provided by Section 5.11 of the Charter.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Councilor Snell. Is there discussion on the motion? Oh, Councilor Weaver.
I just wanted to thank the owners for working with the city to get this resolved, and so we can move forward.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council?
Okay. 8 ayes, no nays, motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we will now go to agenda item number 4. Councilor Dozeman, would you please introduce this item?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Council Bill 19-2025, an ordinance approving the rezoning of property located at 10285 Ridge Road from agricultural 1 to mixed-use commercial transit-oriented development. At issue, the applicant is requesting approval of a zone change from A1 to MUC TOD for property at 10285 Ridge Road for a mixed-use affordable housing project.
Thank you. This is an ordinance on first reading to set the date, time, and location for a public hearing. This case is a quasi-judicial case, so I will caution all the councilors to take that into consideration in their deliberations. Would the clerk please poll the council? Oh, wait a minute. I guess we need a motion first. So anyway, Councilor Dozeman, I have a motion on this.
I move to approve Council Bill number 19-2025, an ordinance approving the rezoning of property located at 10285 Ridge Road from agricultural 1A1 to mixed-use commercial transit-oriented development, MUC-TOD, on first reading for the purpose of ordering it published for a public hearing set for Monday, October 27, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. in City Council chambers, and if adopted, that it take effect 15 days after final publication.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Stites. Now, would the clerk please poll the council?
8 ayes, no nays, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. We will now go to agenda item number 5. Councilor Snell, would you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Mayor. This is Resolution 47-2025, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement concerning regional cold weather response for those experiencing homelessness. The issue, the County of Jefferson and the cities of Arvada, Edgewater, Golden, Lakewood, Westminster, and Wheat Ridge are proposing an intergovernmental agreement to establish a collaborative regional approach to addressing cold weather response for those experiencing homelessness in Jefferson County for the 2025-26 cold weather season and potentially beyond. This initiative aims to address the increasing number of individuals experiencing homelessness in Jefferson County, which is recognized as a regional issue affecting the health, safety, and welfare of each community.
Thank you. This will be a resolution of the council. It is not quasi-judicial. Mr. Goff, we have a staff presentation on this side.
Thank you, Mayor. I will add some brief comments without repeating what Councilmember Snell just read into the record, but this IGA bill builds on work from Jefferson County Spring Forum on homelessness, which I believe Mayor Starker and Councilmember Larson attended. Were you there too, Jenny? No. Jenny and Councilwoman Snell. And it's really been determined by the county that we really need to look at this as a more regional approach. Homelessness spreads regionally. Wheat Ridge does not have any shelters. And our homeless individuals have been using sheltering options in other communities. We've all decided we should all contribute to the costs of that sheltering during the cold weather seasons. The sheltering options currently are the Lakewood Navigation Center, the Jeffco Family Shelter, which is in Lakewood as well. Westminster opens one of their rec centers during very cold weather, and then Arvada is looking at working with some nonprofits to also provide some sheltering. There's also motel vouchers that we all use, every community, and then there's some staffing and operational support at Jefferson County to manage the vouchering program. We've determined that the funding, based on last year's expenses, are just over $2 million for that season, the cold weather season. Wheat Ridge's share, based on our population, would be $102,950. They're asking for, the IGA requires us to make the first payment by November 1st, which is just over $25,000, and then the second payment in January of next year, which is just over $77,000. Both of those dollar amounts are budgeted, so we don't need to do a supplemental. Councilmember Snell mentioned that the program runs through October 1st to April 30th. The IGA is renewable. If we decide to renew it, it's automatically renewable, but we will take this advantage of the season coming up to look at any best, look at the outcomes, see if there's any best practices to improving this for the years to come. Jefferson County will act as the fiscal agent. All the cities will share responsibility for outreach, potential transportation, and reporting. Otherwise, staff recommends approval of this IGA to ensure that Wheat Ridge is part of this regional coordinated solution. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
And to thank Mr. Dahl, because the attorneys, imagine you get 7 or 8 attorneys involved. There's a lot of back and forth. So Mr. Dahl was sending me a new version every day and kind of grimacing. So, but thank you, Mr. Dahl, for helping out.
You know, and to note that it's being done before really the cold weather's hit us. So
yes, we made our
it's not coming in April or May next year. So thank you very much. We invite the public to speak on this item at this time. I have no one signed up to speak, so I will go to questions from council at this time on this item. Councilor Hulteen.
Thank you. And my apologies, Patrick, you may have said this briefly, but are all the jurisdictions within Jefferson County participating?
Yes, Arvada, Edgewater, Golden, Lakewood, Westminster, and Wheat Ridge, and then the county.
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
Councilor Larson.
Thank you, Mayor. And I recall back in June, maybe it was May, Jefferson County invited some of us folks out to look at the mobile shelters that they've gone ahead and purchased. And I can see where, if these are deployed, there will be some significant expense involved, but it is a good solution to some of the issues that kind of surround severe weather. My question is, if this turns out to be a milder than normal winter and that money isn't allocated or isn't spent, does it just roll over then, or?
The IGA allows for a true-up period where at the end of the season, we will evaluate those expenses and what was made, what wasn't. We'll make that decision at that point if payments were already made, if we're going to roll it over or get reimbursements. We want to see how this first year goes and then make some decisions after that.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions before I ask for a motion? Seeing none, Councilor Snell, would you please make a motion on this item?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve Resolution 47-2025, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement concerning regional cold weather response for those experiencing homelessness.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Councilor Dozeman. Is there discussion on the motion? Councilor Snell.
I just wanted to briefly just express my thanks and for being a small part of the forum. And there was so much good discussion at that forum around this countywide approach. And I'm just really thankful that we're doing this and hope that, you know, it seems the bare minimum that we can do. And I'm hoping it's successful and that we can kind of build off of this success, but grateful to all of our neighbors for the collaboration and looking out for all of our community members. So thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the motion? Councilor Larson.
Just real quick, Mayor, and I did just a real quick, just reviewing some of the data that it is mentioned several times in what we're discussing tonight, that homelessness in Jefferson County has increased And if I'm reading the numbers correctly, it has increased since 2020 by almost 75%. There is a real need for this service. And that this initiative, I think, does provide a solution for what is clearly a regional and not simply a municipal issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Hulteen.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to build on what Councilmember Larson just shared. When I was first elected, I went to a couple of county initiatives just really talking about how the county was orienting towards addressing homelessness. And the analogy that was shared at the time, and this was like in 2019, is that, you know, our neighbor to the east, Denver, has been, you know, addressing homelessness for decades and has built and scaffolded different infrastructure and partnerships and really has a robust mechanism. I mean, it is still addressing a lot of the same challenges, but that Jefferson County in a very short time went from like 0 to 60 and really went from not having as systemic of an issue across the county to having, you know, a very immediate issue that was touching many, many jurisdictions. So I want to just second and double down that the county approach has been not only impressive, but rapid. And I really also appreciate, I think people may not appreciate how cooperative Jefferson County is. I think it is really a model in the state for multi-jurisdictional cooperation. So we're really fortunate to be part of such a collaborative county and to be members and participants in that. So I'm glad that we're able to do our part in addressing a very real issue in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council?
8 ayes, no nays. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. We will go to agenda item number 6. Councilor Ohm, would you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Mayor. Motion to approve appointments to boards, commissions, and committees issued in August of 2025. The resignation of one idea committee was received, leaving vacancy in a committee. There's one nomination, one ratification take at this meeting. Do you want me to make a motion?
No, not yet, but in just a minute.
Okay.
This is going to be a motion of the council, and I would like to nominate Shannon Garcia Lewis for an at-large vacancy seat on the IDEA committee, term to expire March 2nd, 2028. Councilor Ohm, may I please have a motion to that effect?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to ratify Mayor Starker's nomination of Shannon Garcia Lewis to the at-large IDEA committee vacant seat, term to expire March 2nd, 2028.
Sorry, second.
We have a motion and a second by Councilor Hulteen. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council?
8 ayes, no nays. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to Ms. Garcia Lewis, and we look forward to having her work on our IDEA committee, which is a great committee to be on. Okay, with that, we will go to agenda item number 7. Councilor Weaver, would you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Mayor. This is resolution number 48-2025. It's a resolution amending the fiscal year 2025 capital improvement program budget to reflect the approval of a supplemental budget appropriation in the amount of $5 million for the purpose of issuing a contract amendment in the amount of $5,374,077.75. I've been practicing. You realize the only time you practice these things is like in 3rd or 4th grade. Because I don't write checks for this amount. Anyway, for the construction of the Improve Wadsworth project to Concrete Works of Colorado Incorporated. Would you like me to read the issue, Mr. Mayor?
You have a
We do. We have a brief,
presentation?
Yeah,
If we have a
presentation from staff.
presentation, we'll skip
Yeah.
on the issue and go from there. This will be a resolution of the council. It is not quasi-judicial. And now I'm going to ask Mr. Goff if you do have a staff presentation on this item.
We do have a brief
Thank you.
presentation. I will start, but we also have Kent Kisselman here, our interim Public Works Director, and Daniel Martinez, our capital program, what's your title these days? Did you get that? Interim Capital Program Manager. So thank you for both those gentlemen coming.
Mayor and council, as you know, the Wadsworth project is the city's largest infrastructure investment, and I'm pleased to report that the project does remain on schedule. I know people think it's been going on for 20 decades, but it's only been 4 years, and that is on schedule, believe it or not. Active construction will be substantially complete at the end of this year, with full completion in spring of next year. More than 90% of the work is already finished, including all northbound traffic lanes in concrete pavement. During construction, several unforeseen conditions required additional work, which typically happens during projects this large. Some of those unforeseen conditions included removal of buried debris, groundwater remediation, asbestos abatement, sewer and irrigation repairs, and modifications to utilities and stormwater systems. In addition, quantities for items such as traffic control and detour pavement exceeded the original estimates. We did provide an update to City Council back in March of last year that there would be a change order coming towards the end of the contract, so that we had a pretty good idea of what the final number is going to be. So the change order required is $5.37 million. As I mentioned, projects of this size usually have these types of change orders, and projects of this size also usually have a contingency of about 10%. Our budget was so tight when we first entered into contracts, we were only having 5% contingency, so we didn't have enough money to cover these unforeseen issues. With that, so there is funding available in the 2J Next Chapter bond reserves, which are eligible for this type of project. Staff recommends approval of this resolution to amend the CIP budget so that we can finish this project and keep it on track. With this investment, the city will deliver on longstanding goals for Wadsworth: safer and more efficient intersections, better access to businesses, continuous sidewalks, and a new bike pedestrian path connecting neighborhoods to Clear Creek Trail. We will be having a ribbon cutting for substantial completion as well. You should be getting an invite soon. I think it's October 17th. Hopefully there's no snow yet. And we're looking forward to that. But with that, Kent or Daniel, do you have anything to add, or are you here for questions? Good. All right. Any questions you may have?
Okay, before I go to questions from council, we invite the public to speak on this item. No one has signed up to speak, so now I'll go to questions from council. Councilor Weaver?
Is there going to be a training on how to use the new lane?
We are starting an education campaign.
Is that how we're going to cut the ribbon? We're going to drive?
That might be part of it, yeah. The CFIs probably will not be done totally on October 17th, probably shortly after. But our communications team has started an education campaign. A press release went out. We're going to do some videos with some flyovers.
Just because that's where I drive right after I'm done with council meetings. So I just want to be sure that, you know.
We could walk your goats through to get you.
We could do a lot of that. I just wanted to make sure that we all were going to get some training.
We are.
Like the roundabouts.
Yes.
We all need training on those too. Thank you.
They know how they work.
What?
The goats know how they work.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, any further? Councilor Hulteen?
I realize we're all taking advantage of getting our Wadsworth questions, and even if they're tangential to the issue. But as somebody who walks and rides a lot on the Wadsworth project, I just want to make note that the pedestrian crossing signalization is not actually being activated or aligning with the signals. So I'm just registering concern and requesting that gets verified sooner than later, because it's actually like difficult to dangerous in that, like, sometimes the pedestrian, like the walking guy and the red hand, are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So
any update on that, gentlemen?
Yeah, they continue. They'll synchronize all the signals upon substantial completion. Right now, they're still, installing those heads and getting those timings together, and we'll get that information. The corridor will be timed through CDOT, and then we'll put that timing together and sync everything up.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure that that's part of wrapping up this phase of the project. But other than that, it's just, it'll be exciting when the CFIs, I've driven through 2 CFI intersections myself, and I can personally assure people that they're much, much more intuitive than people think. And as I've been telling my constituents the last couple of years, that if you've managed to navigate the nearly weekly traffic flow changes that we've been enduring for 4 years, you're going to be able to navigate the CFIs just fine. So we've been training for 4 years for this moment, and we are well positioned to just become absolute experts in the CFIs. So
Hopefully, we're not overtrained.
hopefully not.
Counselor Ohm.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one quick question. Is the sculptures that were approved, will they still be installed?
They will be. It's been a long trail or path to get to that point as well. The art is done. It's actually stored here on city property. We've been working through numerous changes of CDOT regulations and rules, and we're still not quite there. Originally, when this project first started, we were allowed to have art in the medians. They changed that rule midstream on us, so we had to find new locations and negotiate right-of-way acquisition for those. And as you know, one of the big pieces of art is on the sound wall across from the Corners development, and that wall is not going to be installed until probably next month-ish. So, yes, so it's coming.
Any additional, Counselor Larson?
Just one question here, and now that we're on the home stretch, and we're looking to kind of put a bow on the amount of money we're investing in this project, do you think that the $53,800,000 figure is pretty solid, or are there things on the horizon that might, I just want to see if we can say this is it. This is as much money as we're going to spend on this project.
We're hoping. That's why we waited this long before we brought this back, so we had a pretty good number. You guys?
Yeah, unless something completely unforeseen happens, this is the number.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay, Counselor Weaver, may I have a motion on this item?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to note that we have seen completely unseen things in the last 5 years. Not that that's going to happen, but I move to approve resolution number 48, 2025, a resolution amending the fiscal year 2025 capital improvement program budget to reflect the approval of a supplemental budget appropriation in the amount of $5 million for the purpose of issuing a contract amendment in the amount of $5,374,077.75 for construction of the improved Wadsworth project to Concrete Works of Colorado Incorporated.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Counselor Hulteen. Is there discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council?
8 ayes, no nays. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. With that, we'll go to agenda item number 8. Counselor Hulteen, would you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to introduce resolution number 49, 2025, a resolution of support for an application to the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Non-Motorized Trails Grant Program. Should I read at issue?
Yes, please.
Okay. At issue, the Parks and Recreation Department is applying for a Colorado Parks and Wildlife Non-Motorized Trails Grant for funding to install wayfinding and safety signage along the Clear Creek Trail and throughout the Wheat Ridge Greenbelt Network. A resolution of support is required from City Council to apply for this grant.
Thank you. This will be a resolution of the council. It is not quasi-judicial. Mr. Goff, do we have a staff presentation on this item?
Karen O'Donnell, our Parks and Rec Director, is online. She's feeling ill this evening, didn't want to spread her germs. So if you have any questions for her, she is online and ready to answer.
Okay, before I go to questions from council, I will note that we invite the public to speak on this item at this time, and no one has signed up to speak, so I will go to questions from council. Councilor Hulteen.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'm excited to support this resolution. I'd like to ask that as part of this work that the Wheat Ridge ADATs are involved to provide some community perspective on, just placement and, particular impacts of the wayfinding. There was a Live Well Colorado wayfinding grant that we got, I don't know, like 9 years ago, that was meant for
pedestrian wayfinding, and it's a bunch of cute little green signs, but they're like way above like pedestrian. They're like, you can't read them, and they're like 10 feet off the ground. And there's just some pretty pragmatic aspects of this that people who've been working in bike ped advocacy and wayfinding in our community would really be super helpful. So my request is to invite the ADETs to participate and be good community voices in this program.
Thank you. Any further questions? Or okay. May I have a motion on this item, Councilor Hulteen?
Yes, I move to approve Resolution 49, 2025, a resolution of support for an application to the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Non-Motorized Trails Grant Program.
We have a motion and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Stites. Is there discussion on the motion? Councilor Larson?
Thank you, Mayor. And the only comment I have is that I believe this is something that is far overdue. The trails along Clear Creek are really the crown jewel of Wheat Ridge Parks and Rec, and frankly, not having adequate signage, particularly on speed limits for bicycles and whatnot, is well overdue. And I'm really looking forward to the day when I can walk my stubborn little puppy down and not have to worry about a bike speeding by. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Alm?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm definitely in favor of this, and I hope that there's a potential for some signage that says if there's an issue, here's where to report it, because I do hear that from constituents on the trail where if somebody's not happy, maybe somebody's going too fast, and they just don't know what to do. And so I want everybody to have a good experience on that trail. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council?
8 ayes, no nays. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. That concludes our action items. I will now go to city manager's matters. Mr. Goff.
Thank you, Mayor. Just real quickly, we're working very hard to get your 2026 proposed budget to you this week, hopefully Thursday. We are trying to do as many electronic versions as possible. I know a few of you have requested hard copies, and that's fine. If we didn't hear back from you and you're getting an electronic version, then if you want a hard copy, you'll have to ask us. So look for that. And we have our study session on October 6th and adoption on October 27th, I believe. So looking forward to that. Thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you. City attorney's matters. Mr. Dobb.
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Thank you very much. We will now go to elected officials matters. Let's start with Councilor Snell.
Nothing tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Hulteen.
Thank you. I've got a couple things. One is just, this is a little bit of a random thought, but we, periodically throughout the year have people who step down from our boards and commissions. We have vacancies for different reasons. And we tend to be responsive and be posting those. I wonder if we could have something along the lines of like a quarterly bulk posting where we're putting them all out. And the reason that strikes me is that like this morning I had breakfast with Councilmember Hoppy, and we were like having a hard time figuring out what seats were open, and it was a little bit hard to track. So anyway, just a thought administratively of just doing it. We have open calls for open seats 4 times a year, and a big one when they're all aligned, and otherwise we kind of bundle those because that might be better for outreach and easier to communicate amongst us so we can track the openings in our districts. And then I've been out chatting with people in my district the last couple of weeks, and was walking kind of on the north side of 44th, and I had several families over there talking about the need to be able to, first of all, everyone's so excited about the green at 38th. Like, I don't even have to ask them. And they're like, the green at 38th, or they say the green is just so exciting. So kudos to everyone for making that happen. Our community is noticing and responding. But the folks who live north of 44th are feeling really disenfranchised from being able to access it. There just really is a lack of safe crossings. And this is really, I'd say like from Newland to Salisbury Teller. I mean, at Teller you can cross, but like that Reed, that central chunk of 44th east of Wadsworth. There's the pet activated crossing at Hopper Hollow, which is just fundamentally a lot of people don't feel safe using it because there's not a lot of compliance from cars. So just making a registration that I heard that a lot. And I specifically had a woman yesterday who said she's got 2 young kids and one of them will be eligible to start at Stevens. And she said the ability to be able to walk and ride bikes to Stevens Elementary is like a big consideration for them about if they'll go to that school. So this is not the first time we've heard of it, but it's been in my ear a lot the last couple of weeks, and just wanted to share here that community is looking to get better connected with our Main Street and other great things. Although they have great access to the green belt, but that does not mean they should not be able to safely cross 44th Avenue. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Councilor Larson.
Thank you, Mayor, and I would support Councilmember Hulteen's request for periodic regular updates on boards and commissions, because I share that concern that sometimes we don't know that there's vacancies that we may be able to fill. This last Saturday, I had the opportunity to volunteer with the Local Works crew and join the TLC event number 4 out at the Applewood Baptist Church on 38th, and got to watch all of the things that people just get rid of. They don't want it anymore. And so it was a good, couple of hours, and the line was long, and then the line was done. So that was fun. And then in a week from Saturday, October 4th, if you live in District 4 or anywhere really in Wheat Ridge, you're welcome to stop by Boyd's Crossing Park, and I'll leave it up to you to find out where that is. But it is one of Wheat Ridge's better looking parks, and there will be a pop-up event from 9 o'clock in the morning till noon. We'll have fun. Come on out, ask questions. There might be a celebrity or two out there, so come on out and join the fun Saturday, October 4th. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Dozeman.
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Weaver.
I just wanted to thank those people who live around Lewis Meadows. The goats finished their city tour and are back at the farm, and I did a fun program with Prospect Valley Elementary this morning with the goats, and so now those kiddos are helping take care of the goats, and it was really fun. So I just wanted to thank everybody for helping with that project, and of course thank Parks and Rec for always enabling those things to happen, and PD for safety and all those things. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Ohm.
Thank you, Mayor. I had a really good conversation with a constituent that asked me, I'd like to be involved in the community. What openings are there? And I knew, thank you for the email about urban renewal. I said, well, I know we have this one, and that's open, but you have to send me an email and see if I can get updated. So yeah, anything that would help to let us know, like, these are the openings, just some type of site, that would be great. And had a lot of good conversations with constituents about different issues all over the city. I encourage everybody to, if you have an issue, let me know. I want to hear about it. I'd rather have that than people not being happy, and then I find out a long time down the road what the issue is. That one of the issues that so now we have the green, which is great. People love the green, and what's close to it is the Grange, and people like the Grange. But the issue that was brought up is that it doesn't have ADA accessibility, and that's something that I wanna, hopefully we can kind of take a look at that as a city, because I think it's a wonderful gathering area for community, and that was a little disheartening when I did kind of think about it. Like, yeah, you're right. Where is the ADA accessibility for this? So, just want to shed a little light on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Hoppy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for the Domestic Violence Awareness Month proclamation. I'm on the board of directors for Porchlight Family Justice Center, and I just wanted, while this month it was for domestic violence, we serve victims of violence of all types, survivors of gun violence. So I think those that are affected by the shooting at Evergreen High School, child abuse, elderly abuse, human trafficking, sexual assault. So we serve victims of all violence at Porchlight Family Justice Center, and it's hard work and it's worthy and good work. As many nonprofits have been feeling, are really under the squeeze. So if this month in particular you would like to support for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, you can go to Porchlight FJC, FamilyJusticeCenter.org, and go give them, even going to their social medias and giving them a like, and maybe sharing some of their posts is also very helpful if you don't have the financial means. So thank you.
Thank you for that report, and thank you for your work in that group. Mayor Pro Tem Stites.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple things tonight. Yesterday was the Farmers 5000, another great event put on by Wheat Ridge High School, and that's a fundraiser for several of their clubs and everything. It was a fantastic event, always is every year. I want to thank the Sustainable Applewood for putting on our Applewood Block Party. Apparently, our neighborhood goes about 5 miles out because I was meeting people from all over the place. The block party it was pretty phenomenal, but a couple hundred people, trains, food trucks, really amazing. I also want to thank Local Works for their block party grants and their block party library, because we hit that pretty hard and really enjoyed that. We stopped by the dumpster day the other day and dropped some electronics off. And then I also want to thank them for their mid-mod tour. I didn't get a chance to talk about that the other day. I didn't get a chance to go on the tour, but I did stop by the after party at Wolf and Wildflower the other night and got a chance to meet a bunch of those residents. And it's really cool because a lot of those people are younger couples that have just moved into the city, and a bunch of younger families. They all met each other and they're all now like kind of best friends, which is really cool. So that's exactly what Local Works is there for, is to bring people together and get them excited about being as a part of Wheat Ridge. So thank you to them for that. Tomorrow night here in the council chambers, 6 p.m. is the candidate forum. So if you can be here, be here. If not, you can tune in and watch it on YouTube and Channel 8. I'm pretty sure I'm going to mop the floor with my opponent, so it's going to be pretty awesome. You should check in for that. And then the wine walk, it was Saturday as well. The chamber did a phenomenal job. It was great to go down 38th. The green was hopping, and it was really cool just to kind of go all the way down 38th and see all those businesses there and how great they're doing. So get out, support those businesses, and if you can find it, buy it in Wheat Ridge. Thank you.
Thank you. Most of my thunder got stolen by our Mayor Pro Tem, but I will encourage everybody to, if you can make it to tomorrow or view tomorrow's candidate forum. It's a great opportunity to see the candidates, to see their ideas and what they might bring to the offices that we have here. It's a really interesting time, a piece of work to be a public official in Wheat Ridge, and I encourage you to come and see who the candidates are and what they're bringing to the positions. And then we doing a lot of ribbon cutting still. It's the season. We have one coming up this Friday on the 26th at 10 a.m. for Mercedes at 7057 West 38th Avenue. Not quite exactly sure where that is, but I'll put it in the viewfinder and in the little device we carry, and I'll be there on Friday morning at 10. So there's not much business coming before us. Next week we will not be here. It's the 5th Monday, but we will be here back the week after that for a regular meeting. And please drive safely and slowly through our city so that everybody gets back to their homes the way they need to be. All right? If there's no more business come before the council, we will stand adjourned. Thank you.